ahead. Let's see.
All right.
Are we on?
Yeah, I think so.
Can you hear me now? All right. So this will be episode 11 of Ask EJ. All right, let's hit number one.
Number one comes from Brian out of Cincinnati. He says, I'm a black male, and on the subject of police shootings that the media shows, I would like your thoughts and comments honestly putting yourself into a black male's shoes, prospectively of how to react if stopped by an officer of the law.
All right. Well, you actually have a better advantage of not having something crazy happen to you than I do, because right now a lot of the police shootings are happening to white people. So let's take race out of it for a moment. I mean, I understand right now the whole divisive nature of the BLM movement and police and all other stuff. I have my views on that. I think that the powers that be up there hoping for a fundamental transformation of America are wanting us to fight against each other, and this is a great way to do it. But let's just take race out of it for a second. Dealing with the police in light of all that is going on, I would tell you that getting your driver's license out is really the least of my concerns. I just keep both hands on the steering wheel after I roll down the window, and then let him tell you, what he wants. Assuming this is just a standard traffic stop, and that's about the only time I would encounter a police officer. But it would be, he's probably going to say, let me see your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance. And whether your state requires you to or not, I would say, officer, with both hands on the steering wheel, officer, glad to show it to you, my driver's license is in my wallet, which is in my back right pocket. I'm a concealed carry permit holder, and I have my gun on me. How would you like for me to proceed? And just let him give you step-by-step instructions. I think he or she would appreciate that, and I certainly don't want them having an itchy trigger finger in light of everything that's going on. So, you may have to take your seatbelt off. You may have to reach in there for your wallet. I just tell them everything that I'm doing and go really slow, and I think everything will be fine. They may ask you to step out of the vehicle, and they may disarm you. At this point in time, I could care less. I'm not trying to get into a shootout with police. I don't want to get shot, and everyone's on edge right now, especially after what happened in Dallas, and then you see what's in Minnesota. I mean, goodness, we had the I-40 bridge in Memphis shut down yesterday because of a bunch of BLM protesters and stuff. And you got to imagine that the cops get up and go to work. They don't know if they're coming home or not, especially with all these internet threats. So you have to be cognizant of what they're going through as well, and somewhat empathetic. That's a tough job right now, especially when the powers that be want everyone to hate them, and they want black fighting against white and white fighting against black, which it's interesting because the majority of whites and blacks don't want that. There are hundreds of videos all over the internet showing that example, but you have those rogue outliers that are trying to gin up a whole bunch of controversy and stuff. I'll just tell you this, divided we stand is never going to work. It's united we stand. Divided, we fall. And when we're divided, we become weak as a nation, and we now are susceptible to a political implosion or a foreign invasion. So understand what's going on in that police officer's mind. They don't know you from Adam, and act accordingly. The majority of stuff that's going on right now falls in line with You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. But then it gets twisted. So, black or white, it doesn't matter. That police officer wants to do their job and go home. And I'm willing to help them go home. Whatever it takes. You know, there'll be some people like, well, I don't have to tell them. My state says I don't have to tell you I got a firearm on. It's my constitutional right. Okay, well, cool. You can be so right you're wrong. You know, let's not take that chance. And I'll tell you too, when we stop looking at each other as black and white and Hispanic and start looking at each other as we're Americans, you'll see some positive change. So, anyway, that's my take on the whole police thing. Just be aware and kind of go out of your way to help them, and I think you'll be fine. You know, I mean, if he pulls you over for a traffic infraction, whatever, it's a ticket. Okay, fine. You don't have to be a jerk about it. If there's an interaction, do exactly what they tell you to do, and quit being a moron. You know, so. And I think everything will be fine. You know, so. Okay, go on. I mean, that's why hold on before I say it. That's why we have a judicial system. You know, cops can take you to jail, but they don't try you, they don't convict you, they don't sentence you. That's what our judicial system is for. So, I don't want to get into the whole police brutality deal, because I think you have to look at that at each individual situation, and there's wrong on both sides. But as a whole, the police do a pretty good job of protecting and serving. But not if you watch the media. All right, second question. That was a really good question, by the way. Second question. Pretty deep one, though.
So the second question comes from Scott out of Macomb, Mississippi.
Oh, Mississippi.
Mississippi. How do you explain to a new female concealed carrier about the fighting mindset and not allowing herself to be a victim? Example, ruthlessness without hesitation. What are some key points I should bring up?
That's a good one, too.
Good question.
You're on it today.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. Fighting mindset from a woman. Here's what I'll tell you. If I asked you, you're going to be attacked by a lion, or you're going to be attacked by a lioness, which one would you want? Well, I would tell you I don't want to be attacked by either. Why is that? Because a lioness is just as vicious as a lion. And that's how you have to think of yourself in our society. You can go from 1 minute being that caring and loving mother, and then the next minute you're scrapping it out to remain, walking upright and breathing on the face of the planet. The thing is, in our society is that, we've always treated women, and I think we should, as the nurturer, and therefore the men, take care of them and protect them. But as society has, evolved, there are a lot of single women, single moms out there, and for whatever reason, their husband was killed in action. They couldn't work things out. For whatever reason, they're not together anymore. Women have got to start taking up for themselves, and we're seeing a huge amount of women coming into the shooting world, whether it be the self-defense aspect. They're coming in as maybe just kind of getting into the competitive shooting or whatever. They're embracing it more. And that's where our industry is having a hard time keeping up, because we're having this massive influx of women wanting to take care of themselves and participate in the personal side of the personal protection. I would tell you that at any point in time, criminals are going to look at women as an easy, and I use that in air fingers quotation, an easy mark versus a man, because of their perceived their perception of your resistance. And you change that by fighting back. Now, in some of my women's classes, I've asked that question, what would you do? You're with little Janie and little Johnny in the Walmart parking lot shoving grocery bags into the car, and a guy comes up with a gun and says, give me your wallet. And as that conversation unfolds, I have heard several times, well, he can hurt me, just don't hurt my kids. For which I would respond to, so you're fine with a foster family raising your child? Because you do have options. You could fight back. If you had the right tools and the right skill set, all within that right mindset, you have an extremely higher chance of surviving than just complying and dying. And they don't think you're going to do anything. That's why they picked you. See, these type of people are cowards. A lot of it is how you carry yourself. If you look like a victim, you could be a victim. Awareness would be your number one asset to avoiding a fight altogether. Seeing things that are not right. Why is that guy sitting on the trunk of his car in the Walmart parking lot just looking around? Is he waiting on a family member to come out because he was smoking a cigarette and didn't want to go inside? Or is he looking for a mark? I don't know. But maybe we want to just go to our car on the next aisle over, where we can kind of see him out of our peripheral. What doesn't feel right? When the hair on the back of your neck stands up, you should pay attention. That instinct of yours is not wrong most of the time. And avoidance is a victory. So the awareness and focusing on what you know doesn't feel right is number one. Number two is, if you find yourself in that confrontation, you should have already decided what you're willing to give up, and then what you're willing not to give up. So here's what I tell it. I'll say, first, before you ever strap on a gun, you got to do three things. First, get right with yourself. Forgive yourself of all those things you could have done, should have done, or would have done, and be happy with who you are today. If you don't like who you are today, start making a change today. The second, get right with your family. All these little petty arguments that we have with our family are just that, petty, when you're standing at a casket. Extend the hand of reconciliation. If it gets slapped, so be it, but you extended it. And the third, you can get right with God, because you may be meeting him a lot sooner than you originally planned. Once you've got those things in order, now you're ready to move without hesitation and move without regret. Follow that with a lot of training, getting the proper gear, and then trusting that gear. And now, should your awareness lead you to a situation that you know, because you're aware, that you can't avoid and you have to fight, you know what you're willing to die for. And then fight with everything that you have. Again, they're not really thinking you're going to fight back. They're thinking you're going to comply. And then there's your mantra, comply and die. So if it's me, and I'm going to die either way, I'm going out fighting. And I'm going to protect my babies. And so he's going to get everything that I got. Just believe in yourself. You can do it. It's primal. You have it inside of you. Let that beast out for a while. Let him walk around. Kind of that. I mean, women are no different than men in that regard. It's just, you have it inside of you. Let it out. Don't be afraid of it. All right, question number 3.
Before we go on, Scott wants a little favor from you. He says, can you say Scott Mitchell is a cool person so he can have it as his ringtone?
Scott, so silly. Scott Mitchell is a cool person. I like him. There we go.
Boom. Last question comes from Philip. His question says, EJ, you mentioned trust your gear. What's your minimum round count through your weapon before you are comfortable carrying it? The reason I ask, my number is 1,000 rounds, 20% of which is my defensive ammo. My friends think I'm nuts. What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't think he's nuts. What's his name?
Philip.
Philip. Philip, I don't think you're nuts. But here's what I'll tell you. It's not a number. For me, I have to run the gun hard. And I have to run it while I'm stressed for me to have the full faith and confidence to carry it on my hip. So it has to go through a lot of training classes with me. It has to prove itself time and time again. It's not like 500 rounds or 1,000 rounds without a failure, and then it eats my concealed carry ammo, game time ammo, and it's good. That's not it. I want to know, what does the trigger do after you get on it really hard? Is there some play in it? Does it get a little soft? How does the slide back and forth? Is it going to chamber? How does the magazine seat when you slam a magazine in versus when you just push it in? How does the mag release work if I touch it on the far side, or I have to touch it on the near side, or do I have to get my whole finger over on it, or my whole thumb on top of it? I want to know all this different stuff, and the only way you're going to know that is by running it in some classes and running it hard. So for me, I have to run it pretty hard before I'll trust it. And it's not just a number. Most guns, I would say, at a minimum need about a 500 round break-in period. It's not always true. I mean, it's not like, it's written on a tablet of stone, but I like to do around 500, obviously with game time ammo thrown in there to make sure that it feeds really well. And then after that, it's time to go start training with it. And then it'll prove itself in training, or it won't. Put it in not just, you have to put it in a contextual application, a real world simulated application for me really to get that warm and fuzzy about it. Cool. Is that 3?
That's 3.
Awesome. Those are good questions, like we did race and women, and wow.
Good one.
They are getting better. It's like when we say give you good questions, like it's happening. Yeah. What's your favorite star? Whatever. All right, cool. So, hey, let me just say this. In light of everything that's going on, I just want you to think about, are we really believing the hype that's out there? Or are we enjoying the sensationalism? There's a big difference. United we stand, divided we fall. And you have to ask yourself, do they really want us to fight? And if they do, why? All right. Don't forget to check out the radio show. And we have an Instagram and Twittergram and all other good social media stuff that's out there. You follow that, Snapchat, and then let's see. It's Monday. I'm having a hard time thinking. Anyway, great questions. Great questions. Let's get some more questions like that. I like that. Let's think and discuss it in the comments. We do read the comments. I don't always take questions from the comments, but we do read them. Y'all have a great week. Don't forget to hug a cop if you got a chance. Let them know, hey, we're not all hating you out there. All right. As always, you know it. Say it. Stay alert. Practice off. Did I just knock it down?
Just knocked it down.
Limit power. All right, guys. Y'all see y'all later. Bye.